What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of KozMatt's Wrestling Recap. Let's get right into a very entertaining episode of Friday Night SmackDown that saw the return of Kurt Angle. What did you think of the show, Matthew?
First off, happy birthday to Mr. Angle, huh?
Absolutely.
I totally forgot that he actually was supposed to be scheduled for this week's episode of SmackDown. I totally forgot. And usually kind of throughout the day on Friday or even like Thursday, I read up online of what's going to happen. And I totally forgot Kurt Angle was supposed to be on SmackDown tonight. And it actually led to a bargain, man. We were able to see somebody who we thought we weren't going to see in quite some time. But you know what? We saw them. Or him, I'm sorry, but we will get to that. So you don't want to miss who I guess you could say debuted. Not really.
Kind of. Yeah, man. Let's get right into the show, man. It was a great kickoff to the show, man. The crowd actually seemed hot for one, so I was here for
They
it.
seem hot for once, even though WWE as of late they have been trying to amp up the crowd a little bit by doing some more type of altercation with the crowd for each show. So they wasted no time kicking off the blue brand undisputed tag team championships on the line. Sheamus and Butch versus, of course, the champions, current holders, the Usos. Um, we so before I get into this match, we were supposed to we were supposed to see Sheamus and Drew McIntyre actually take on the Usos, but it was changed to Sheamus and Butch. The reason for that is Drew McIntyre is suffering, I think, something with his eardrum.
Yeah,
He
blown eardrum, so that's
Yeah,
no
so
good.
same thing as Roman Reigns, I think, as he suffered after Survivor Series. But he'll be back soon, but not quite sure when. It would make certainly a nice Royal Rumble return. So match kicks off, man. Perfect time 1D from the Usos. Let me just talk about something. I don't even think we can talk about the Brawling Brutes. Let's talk about Sheamus. All right. We were able to see a great matchup between these four men. But let's talk about Sheamus for a second. I think he is probably in one of the
Best runs of his
hottest
career.
moments in his
Yeah.
career. He's it's not that he's just over. He's just arguably one of the best wrestlers, honestly, that we have seen in quite some time. And I think Sheamus, he just really has picked up a lot of steam throughout the past few years. His career was kind of on a downfall, I think. And I'm not saying the Brawling Brute saved him, but I think just as of late, he's just been really on an uprise in his career.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. They kind of really all elevate each other. Everybody in the Brawling Brutes stable, Sheamus brought his talent and experience to Ridge
Right.
Holland and Butch, and it really provided for a
And it's
great team.
exactly, and it's not like we expected to see the Brawling Brutes take the W. Of course, we didn't. I mean, Zayn, of course, ringside, helping the Usos retain. It kind of helped the bloodline look strong. It's something we needed, and it's not like we wanted to see the bloodline take an L. It would have made no sense to see them take an L, to be honest with you. But Sami Zayn ringside, of course, it just certainly helped intensify the drama. So let's move forward. LA Knight hitting the ring, calling out Bray Wyatt for the sneak attacks that he's left him injured over the past few months. A video interrupted featuring Uncle Howdy urging Wyatt to do it, and LA Knight deserves it. And then it kind of ended with that masked Enigma saying, "Close there, the door is closing." I think Uncle Howdy actually is trying to tell LA Knight to do something to Bray Wyatt. I don't know, but we also saw in a video a woman's voice in the background, a little confusing. Not really sure what we're aiming at, but it sounds like a woman's voice, kind of sounded a lot like Alexa Bliss. And it totally makes sense. The storytelling is great, man. It's doing it for me, but just each week I just want to see an expectation of what all this means. And the storytelling, it's an A+ for sure, but where is this bringing us? You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, absolutely. We're getting to a payoff very soon. I think we're going to see LA Knight versus Uncle Howdy
Right.
or Bray Wyatt in whatever incarnation that he wants. Maybe we'll see The Fiend come back. But you know what? LA Knight versus The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, whatever you want to call him. I think that would be a great match for both
Yeah,
competitors and both elevate their stock on Friday Night SmackDown.
absolutely. Absolutely. And especially the mask, the hidden mask in the background of the injury angles throughout the past few weeks. LA Knight was pointing that out. It just is a great top and a great touch to this storyline. So let's talk about Viking Raiders taking on Legado del Fantasma. Match pretty good match. Nothing really crazy here. Hit Row actually interrupts, match ends in a no contest. So I think they're trying to kind of implicate tag teams in SmackDown, and they're trying to freshen it up a little bit, and I totally see that. Um, I'm excited to see that they're putting the Viking Raiders right in the mix with, of course, Hit Row and Legado del Fantasma. I mean, those are the three top tag teams on SmackDown, if only the really top tag teams on SmackDown besides the Brawling Brutes, but they're in the main event. I like how they're putting everybody kind of in the fray at once. But let's talk about quickly backstage right after this no contest match. LA Knight continued his pursuit of Bray Wyatt, actually to end up in a dark locker room confronted by Bray Wyatt as he was dressed up in the mask as what he debuted in. And everything turned dark. So I think LA Knight's in some trouble.
They're setting us up for a payoff, man, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. One more quick thing on the tag team division on SmackDown. I really love how they're bolstering the division by putting all the tag teams kind of in that main spotlight and making them all look strong, kind of keeping us guessing who's going to be the next challenger for the Usos.
Exactly. Absolutely. And you know what? I like what they're doing with it. They're keeping us on our toes, and that's what we need. So what started out as a contract signing for next week's Intercontinental Championship match, Ricochet and Gunther. It actually ended with the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods backing up Ricochet, with, of course, Imperium on Gunther's side. We actually were able to see a 6-man tag team match. So Ricochet, New Day, Kofi, and Xavier Woods versus Imperium. Nice match, man. I really like the team, the team of Imperium taking on Ricochet and the New Day. Ricochet is very slick when it comes to Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. I couldn't see Imperium taking an L, but it is something that we did see, especially this week on SmackDown. A clean win with Ricochet and New Day. But could we see Ricochet dethrone the head of Imperium? Could we see him take the Intercontinental Championship off of Gunther, especially him being the World Cup winner on SmackDown? Ricochet is, I see bright things in Ricochet's future, and I really think Triple H sees that too.
Oh, absolutely. I think this was a great match for the winners on the side of both Ricochet and the New Day. You got Ricochet getting lined up to take that Intercontinental Championship away.
Yeah.
You also have the New Day facing the NXT Tag Team Champions and building some good momentum towards that on SmackDown. So
Yeah.
the New Day could possibly be new NXT Tag Team Champions. We'll just have to wait and see.
Not sure, man. We'll have to wait and see, just like you said. But Ricochet, man, taking the W, if that's the case next week on SmackDown, that will certainly be interesting. Let's talk about a quick backstage segment next. Kieran Cross issuing kind of a warning to Rey Mysterio, staring at his injured foot as he walked out of the WWE trainers room. So could this be the next direction for Kieran Cross? Could he be going for Rey Mysterio? That would be certainly interesting. I really wouldn't have seen this at all, but that would certainly be an interesting match. Let's move into the ring. Kyle, Liv Morgan and Tegan Nox versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler.
A great
feeling good, man.
match.
The women's level is incredible. I guess I could talk about Ronda Rousey. She just isn't doing it for me. It's just not doing it for me. But let's just talk about Liv Morgan's match here tonight, right? Especially with Tegan Nox. Now, I really think that Liv Morgan is just an uprising star, and she's gaining so much momentum. Raquel Rodriguez actually made her way ringside, distracting Rousey, allowing Nox to deliver a shining wizard and to Shayna Baszler for the pinfall victory. So Nox and Morgan defeated Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Didn't expect Rousey to take the L like this, but you know what, it makes sense. Tegan Nox, especially the upcoming hot star on SmackDown, along with, you know, a strong looking Liv Morgan, it totally makes sense. Rousey and Baszler, this is just the beginning for them too, but I hope they do kick some ass in the next few weeks on SmackDown, because I do enjoy them, and I know you do too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know what, this was a great women's match. You know, honestly, nothing on this card tonight felt like filler, felt like a smooth show, and it kind of just led all the way until that funny Kurt Angle angle. You see what I did there, but we'll get into that later.
Yep. All right. So before we get into that, let's talk about Lacey Evans kind of teasing a second reboot video package playing. What I'm very, very curious what they're going to do with Lacey Evans, especially under Triple H, her coming back after being booed out of the freaking arena like she was a couple months back. Let's talk about it, man. What do you think? What do you think about Lacey Evans returning? What do you think about this new kind of persona, the badass Lacey Evans, the Marine that she was? All props to her, but I don't know. Is this going to do it for the WWE universe?
One thing's for sure, and this is not to be mean towards Lacey Evans whatsoever. It can't be any worse than her comeback in the beginning of the year of this year because that thing just fell dead in the water. Lacey Evans is a very talented superstar, in my opinion, and hopefully the second reboot does it for her under
Yeah,
Triple H, like you said.
yeah, I think so. A second reboot for sure. Let's talk about our main event. Okay, let's talk about it. All right, man. I didn't expect this to be our main event. To be honest with you, I really wish it wasn't,
Yeah, me neither.
but it is what it is. Kurt Angle celebrating his birthday in the closing angle of Friday show. See what I did there?
Oh boy.
Um, so I was getting updates about people just bashing this, and I can see why. All right, I could see why. But you know what? We were able to see that person who I was talking about earlier, Gable Steveson. So Kurt Angle coming out quickly interrupted by Chad Gable and Otis of Alpha Academy. Not like they haven't done this before. Um, Kurt Angle kind of going to the back, then reemerging with Gable Steveson. Totally makes sense. Coming back to the ring, just basically throwing milk into the ring, kind of like what he did in 2001. Um, but it's like there wasn't much to it, you know. He came to the ring, he was interrupted, went back, got Gable Steveson, came back, looked strong, closing out the show. It put spotlight on Otis and Gable, but you know what? There was no point of doing this, especially I what is it gonna do something with Gable Steveson? Is Gable Steveson coming to SmackDown? Is he gonna be managed by Kurt Angle? You know, it would make sense to do this, not just because it's Kurt's birthday. If they have something going with a storyline, put Kurt on the show. But other than that, one of the worst segments I've seen to even just end a show.
Oh, absolutely. It certainly left a lot of things up in the air. Like you said, could Kurt Angle be Gable Stevenson's manager? That would be certainly a cool angle. Both former Olympians, and there was a few funny Kurt Angle segments. Like
Of course.
we had a funny segment there with him and Jason Jordan still giving a call back to he made
Right.
macaroni art that said I'm your number one fan or you're the number one dad, something like that. It was pretty funny, but like you said, it was a very interesting kind of weird angle to end SmackDown. Give us your guys input on what you thought of the end of the show, and maybe we're just being too harsh, but it
I
was
think so.
kind of interesting. Let us know what you guys thought about the show. Always like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you Tuesday with a Monday Night Raw recap. Until then, peace out.